We live in a world where presence is measured in pixels, where the self is broadcast, displayed, and curated. And yet, there are those who remain unseen, those who do not post, do not share, do not perform for the scroll of others' attention. At first glance, it might appear as absence, a void, even loneliness. But if we pause, if we linger, we begin to understand. Silence is their language, and detachment is their form of strength. The people who avoid social media live in a different rhythm. They are not absent, they are awake. They notice the subtleties others miss, the quiet beauty of light through leaves, the unspoken gestures of strangers, the weight of words left unsaid. Their minds are not fractured by the constant ping of validation, not dulled by the compulsive need to document every moment. Instead, their attention is full, deep, and deliberate. They are present in the life that happens quietly, behind the scenes, unobserved by the gaze of the digital crowd. There is a particular courage in this choice, to resist the pull of constant display. To let moments exist without framing them for approval is to say, I do not need the world to witness my existence to validate it. It is a refusal to negotiate one's inner life for likes, for comments, for the shallow affirmation that comes from external eyes. In psychology, we might call it self-regulation, emotional autonomy, but it feels, in truth, like freedom. Freedom from comparison, freedom from anxiety, freedom from the tyranny of the visible. Yet this solitude carries a weight. It is not the empty freedom of detachment without feeling. It is the dense, reflective solitude that often hums with quiet longing. There is awareness, sometimes a piercing one, that the world moves without pause, that connections are forged in spaces one does not occupy. But instead of panic, there is patience. They understand that connection does not always require visibility, that meaning is not always public, that peace is found in depth rather than breadth. There is also an intimacy with self that emerges. By not performing, by not needing to show, they live with themselves fully. Their triumphs, their fears, their quiet moments of despair or elation, they experience them first, deeply, honestly. The act of not sharing is a mirror, reflecting their authenticity back to themselves, unfiltered, uncurated, unborrowed. They understand that life is richer when it is lived in shades, not highlights. And perhaps the most profound psychology of all, they observe. They see the restless, performative dance of social media, the compulsions, the subtle envy, the hunger for attention. But they do not judge. They watch, they learn, they feel the texture of humanity unvarnished and raw. They are attuned to the currents beneath the surface, the emotions that flicker and fade before anyone else notices. There is wisdom in this quiet study, a knowing that the loudest voices are not always the truest. To not post is to inhabit a private sovereignty. It is to claim one's life as one's own. It is to understand that validation can be internal, that existence does not require external applause. And in that quiet defiance, there is power, there is beauty, there is the slow, steady cultivation of a life that is deeply lived, profoundly felt, and entirely one's own. So, if you know someone who doesn't post, who seems absent, who keeps themselves tucked away from the ceaseless gaze of the digital world, know this: they are not lost, they are awake, they are present, they are quietly, ferociously alive. And there is something in that silence that we can all learn from, the art of being unobserved, unshaken, and unbound. Point 2. There is a peculiar strength in those who walk alone and speak little. In a world that constantly demands attention, their restraint is not weakness, it is mastery. The psychology behind this is subtle but profound. They have learned that the mind is a battlefield, and every word, every share, every public gesture is a skirmish for control over their inner life. To post, to broadcast, and to seek validation is to hand fragments of themselves to forces outside their command. And they refuse. In the quiet of solitude, they cultivate presence. They understand that life's meaning is never in the applause of the crowd, but in the silent alignment of thought, action, and intention. They observe patterns in human behavior with clarity because they are not distracted by the ceaseless noise of online performance. They notice the unspoken, the gestures, the silences that speak louder than words. And in this awareness, they develop resilience, a fortitude that the loudest, most visible minds rarely achieve. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius taught that external events hold no power over the mind unless we give it to them. Those who avoid social media live this lesson daily. Every temptation to compare, to boast, to compete is met with calm observation. They understand that value is not in external affirmation, but in internal sovereignty. They are learning the hardest lesson of all. The only thing truly theirs to control is themselves. And through that mastery, they gain freedom. Yet this discipline is not sterile. It is deeply human. Behind the quiet exterior, emotions still pulse, still ache, still seek. But they are tempered, understood, and allowed to exist without forcing expression. Anger is felt but not broadcast. Joy is savored but not posted. Fear is acknowledged but not weaponized. In this deliberate emotional stewardship, they find clarity, a kind of inner clarity that allows them to navigate the world with purpose rather than distraction. And there is a magnetic paradox here. By giving nothing to the public gaze, they reveal everything about themselves to those who truly see. The absence of noise becomes a signal, a mark of authenticity. It draws people, not in shallow curiosity, but in genuine recognition of a presence untainted by performance. Their lives become quietly luminous, a demonstration of the power that comes from detachment, self-mastery, and patient observation. To walk this path is to accept the solitude of one's mind as a sanctuary, not a prison. It is to understand that the true measure of attraction, of influence, of fulfillment is internal, invisible, and enduring. Those who refuse to post, who resist the seduction of attention, are quietly building a life of unshakable integrity. And in that silence, in that refusal to perform, they are stronger, freer, and more alive than almost anyone who clamors for the eyes of the world. Point 3. There is a quiet defiance in choosing not to be seen. Those who abstain from posting on social media do not do so out of shame, nor out of fear. They do so out of understanding. They have recognized the subtle chains that attention, approval, and constant validation place upon the mind. Each like or comment is a tiny surrender, a small erosion of sovereignty. To abstain is to reclaim power, not by aggression, but by deliberate withdrawal. Psychologically, this speaks to a profound inner discipline. These individuals are curators of their own attention. They do not scatter it across endless feeds of curated lives and fleeting trends. They conserve their energy for reflection, for thought, for the cultivation of their inner virtues. Like a Stoic standing apart from the theatre of the world, they observe without participation, understanding without being consumed. Every unshared moment becomes a treasure, every unbroadcast emotion a carefully tended garden of self-mastery. Yet there is an emotional subtlety here. Silence is not emptiness. Solitude is not loneliness. The mind that resists public performance is still rich with feeling, still alive to the nuances of connection, still capable of profound empathy. But these emotions are internalized, tempered, and refined. A laugh unshared, a triumph unposted, a sorrow unpublicized. They are all experienced fully, deeply, without contamination by external opinion. In this way, life itself becomes an intimate and sacred dialogue, a conversation with one's own soul, rather than with the fleeting gaze of strangers. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In abstaining from social media, these individuals are practicing this principle daily. They choose the quality of their engagement, the integrity of their responses, and the sovereignty of their inner state over the shallow clamor of digital recognition. Their power is quiet, unadvertised, almost invisible. but it is enduring. If this resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on it quietly. The world moves fast, but your growth is measured in stillness, in the moments you choose to observe rather than react. If you want to explore more ideas that challenge your mind, strengthen your spirit, and help you see life with deeper clarity, make sure to subscribe and join this journey. Hit the like button if this touched something within you, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. We grow stronger in understanding together. Remember, the quietest souls often carry the loudest wisdom. Stay observant, stay grounded, and we'll meet again in the silence where true power lives.